and welcome to your third Fireside Chat. I'm Emily again, in case y'all forgot. This week we are going to be talking about love for leadership. So we've been focusing on love for yourself and love for others, and I think both of these, you really need to have a good grasp on those before we go into love for leadership, because I think love for others and love for yourself kind of combines and turns into like love for leadership. So you have to have those concepts down before you move into that love for leadership. And I think love for leadership is something really important for ATC because we are leaders. We change people's lives, and they look up to us, and we transform their Aggie family in their journey. So this week I chose a book called Even Superheroes Make Mistakes. I think this book is really applicable to what we're talking about because you're going to make mistakes, so you're going to mess up, and that's okay. And so I think this book will really highlight that, and so I hope y'all enjoy it. When superheroes are not up to speed, when they slip up and trip up and fail to succeed. They could cry or deny or claim it's not fair, or rip off their capes and quit in despair. If they bake super cakes with way too much salt, they could shrug. It was bakery bot, not my fault. If they bungled their speech at the hero convention, they could put on a light show, diverting attention. If they space out and nab the wrong guys without thought, they could choose to let bandits succeed with their plot. But it's shame superheroes who goofed up somehow. First stop and consider what's best to do now. If they wake up late for boot camp their very first day, they invent an alarm clock that works right away. If last year they ruined the annual choir, they train screechy voices and learn to sing higher. If they didn't prepare any clean clothes to wear, they still polish their boots and spiff up their hair. But if superheroes can't take their airs in stride, they might look for a way to excuse, blame, or hide. If they bash through the planets while flying in space, they could claim someone's cape was obstructing their face. If they build a big bridge that doesn't sit right, they could blame and call names a supercharged fight. If their rescue attempt was not super clever, they could stock up on supplies and hide out forever. When superheroes are not up to speed, when they slip up and trip up and fail to succeed, they could hang their heads down. They could, but they don't. Because real superheroes just wouldn't. They won't. Instead, they remember perfection is rare, and they choose super ways to respond when they err. And using their powers as true heroes do, they fix what they wrecked and apologize too. They fess up their mess up, they learn from their blooper. Responsibility, that makes them super. It's okay if they blush, it's okay if they quake. It's okay if they super regret their mistake. But when they get up and get on with their day, saving the world in the most super way. Okay, I hope y'all like that book. I really like this one. It's one of my favorites. I think the most important lesson to take from this book is that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But the big part that makes you into a leader is owning up to your mistakes and finding a way to fix it and working as a team to fix it and make things right. And so I wanted y'all to take that away from this, because you may not think it, but you are a superhero. You're a leader, and you, to the campers, you are that superhero. They look up to you. They think you're amazing. They think you're cool. Like, that's you. And I know you may not feel like it, but that's how you're seen. And I wanted y'all to realize that, and realize that it's okay if you make mistakes, and it's okay if you mess up. The important part is figuring out how to fix those mistakes and stay super. So that's all I have for y'all with my book today. I hope y'all enjoy my TED Talk that I prepared for y'all. So have a great day, and I'll see y'all next week.
I want to just start by asking everyone in the audience here a question. How many of you are completely comfortable with calling yourselves a leader? See, I've asked that question all the way across the country, and everywhere I ask it, no matter where, there's always a huge portion of the audience that won't put up their hand. And I've come to realize that we have made leadership into something bigger than us. We made it into something beyond us. We made it about changing the world. And we've taken this title of leader and we treat it as if it's something that one day we're going to deserve. But to give it to ourselves right now means a level of arrogance or cockiness that we're not comfortable with. And I worry sometimes that we spend so much time celebrating amazing things that hardly anybody can do, that we've convinced ourselves that those are the only things we're celebrating. And we start to devalue the things that we can do every day. And we start to take moments where we truly are a leader, and we don't let ourselves take credit for it, and we don't let ourselves feel good about it. And I've been lucky enough over the last 10 years to work with some amazing people who have helped me redefine leadership in a way that I think has made me happier. And with my short time today, I just want to share with you the one story that is probably most responsible for that redefinition. I went to a school on a little school called Mount Allison University in Sackville, New Brunswick. And on my last day there, a girl came up to me and she said, "I remember the first time that I met you." And then she told me a story that happened 4 years earlier. She said, "On my day before I started university, I was in the hotel room with my mom and my dad, and I was so scared and so convinced that I couldn't do this, that I wasn't ready for university, that I just burst into tears. And my mom and my dad were amazing. They were like, 'Look, we know you're scared, but let's just go tomorrow. Let's go to the first day. And if at any point you feel as if you can't do this, that's fine. Just tell us, we will take you home. We love you no matter what.'" And she said, so I went the next day and I was standing in line getting ready for registration, and I looked around and I just knew I couldn't do it. I knew I wasn't ready. I knew I had to quit. And she says, I made that decision, and as soon as I made it, there was this incredible feeling of peace that came over me. And I turned to my mom and my dad to tell them that we needed to go home. And just at that moment, you came out of the Student Union building wearing the stupidest hat I have ever seen in my life. It was awesome. And you had a big sign promoting Shinorama, which is Students Fighting Cystic Fibrosis, a charity I've worked with for years. And you had a bucket full of lollipops. And you were walking along and you were handing the lollipops out to people in line and talking about Shinorama. And all of a sudden, you got to me and you just stopped and you stared. It was creepy. This girl right here knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then you looked at the guy next to me and you smiled and you reached in your bucket, you pulled out a lollipop and you held it out to him. And you said, you need to give a lollipop to the beautiful woman standing next to you. And she said, I have never seen anyone get more embarrassed faster in my life. He turned beet red and he wouldn't even look at me. He just kind of held the lollipop out like this. And I felt so bad for this dude that I took the lollipop. And as soon as I did, you got this incredibly severe look on your face and you looked at my mom and my dad and you said, look at that, look at that. First day away from home and already she's taking candy from a stranger. And she said everybody lost it. 20 feet in every direction, everyone started to howl. And I know this is cheesy and I don't know why I'm telling you this, but in that moment when everyone was laughing, I knew that I shouldn't quit. I knew that I was where I was supposed to be, and I knew that I was home. And I haven't spoken to you once in the 4 years since that day, but I heard that you were leaving. And I had to come up and tell you that you've been an incredibly important person in my life, and I'm gonna miss you. Good luck. And she walks away, and I'm flattened. And she gets about 6 feet away, she turns around and smiles and goes, you should probably know this too. I'm still dating that guy 4 years later. A year and a half after I moved to Toronto, I got an invitation to their wedding. Here's the kicker, I don't remember that. I have no recollection of that moment, and I've searched my memory banks because that is funny, and I should remember doing it, and I don't remember it. And that was such an eye-opening, transformative moment for me to think that maybe the biggest impact I'd ever had on anyone's life, a moment that had a woman walk up to a stranger 4 years later and say, "You've been an incredibly important person in my life," was a moment that I didn't even remember. How many of you guys have a lollipop moment, a moment where someone said something or did something that you feel fundamentally made your life better? All right. How many of you have told that person they did it? See, why not? We celebrate birthdays where all you have to do is not die for 365 days. And yet we let people who have made our lives better walk around without knowing it. And every single one of you has been the catalyst for a lollipop moment. You have made someone's life better by something that you said or that you did. And if you think you haven't, think about all the hands that didn't go back up when I asked that question. You're just one of the people who hasn't been told. But it is so scary to think of ourselves as that powerful. It can be frightening to think that we can matter that much to other people. Because as long as we make leadership something bigger than us, as long as we keep leadership something beyond us, as long as we make it about changing the world, we give ourselves an excuse not to expect it every day from ourselves and from each other. Marianne Williamson said, "Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that frightens us." And my call to action today is that we need to get over that. We need to get over our fear of how extraordinarily powerful we can be in each other's lives. We need to get over it so we can move beyond it. And our little brothers and our little sisters, and one day our kids, or our kids right now, can watch us start to value the impact we can have on each other's lives more than money and power and titles and influence. We need to redefine leadership as being about lollipop moments. How many of them we create, how many of them we acknowledge, how many of them we pay forward, and how many of them we say thank you for. Because we've made leadership about changing the world, and there is no world. There's only 6 billion understandings of it. And if you change one person's understanding of it, one person's understanding of what they're capable of, one person's understanding of how much people care about them, one person's understanding of how powerful an agent for change they can be in this world, you've changed the whole thing. And if we can understand leadership like that, I think if we can redefine leadership like that, I think we can change everything. And it's a simple idea, but I don't think it's a small one. And I want to thank you all so much for letting me share it with you today.